Hello everybody, I'm Derik64 and today I'm going to be bringing you a video on how to AV mod your Magnavox Odyssey 2. Reason being is because that's what I got. I don't got an Atari or anything else like that. I got more of the under the radar Odyssey 2. One reason in particular that I wanted to do this was if I had an AV mod on my Odyssey 2, I'd be able to record footage to put on my Let's Play channel. Insert shameless plug here. If you're interested, go ahead, check it out. We do fun stuff, and hopefully Magnavox Odyssey 2 stuff soon. Now, if y'all are watching this video, reason being is if you guys have motivation similar to this, or for whatever reason, if you guys want to AV mod your Odyssey 2 just to make it easier to use, well, then this is the video for you. So I'm going to go ahead and basically do everything on camera, and, well, let's get started. So you guys, clearly, there's going to be a couple things you're going to need to use to work with in order to do this kind of mod. So, of course, you're going to need yourself a soldering iron. Nothing specific, just don't be too cheap. Anything, something of reasonable build will be fine. Of course, you're going to need some soldering rosin because you're going to need to solder in the components that you're going to be adding to the system. I'll mention what those are here soon. A soldering iron cleaner, you're going to need one of these. Of course, these things generally you're going to need for any kind of soldering work. Anyways, so that's a given. Of course, you're gonna need a solder sucker, any kind of suction pump or other to be able to get up any excess solder. And of course, the most arguably the most important thing here would be the Odyssey 2 kit. Okay, so this basically what it is the necessary components that you'd need in order to make your system AV capable. Now you can get kits like these pretty much anywhere on the internet. I got mine at retrofixes.com. I'll leave a link in the description below of the store page so you guys can check it out if you like. Again, you can find this pretty much anywhere. There's several different sites that sell gear like this, but again, I got mine at Retrofixes for about 25 bucks. So also another thing that we're going to need to use, of course, would be a power drill. Yeah, a power drill basically. Nothing super incredibly powerful or anything along those lines, because we're going to need to or what we're going to do in this video for this mod is we're going to go ahead and cut some holes to be able to install the RCA jacks that we have here. We're going to basically use this to drill away a hole in the shell of the system to go ahead and attach and bolt these in. Also, what you're going to be needing is a pair of wire cutters in order to go ahead and splice the wiring that you get with the kit. Okay, and of course, we're going to need our Odyssey 2. Now, in this case, I've already had mine in pieces. Now, to open up the Odyssey 2, it has 3 bolts that you need to remove. To remove these bolts, you need to use a 1/4-inch socket to take them out. And then there's also several bolts inside that the motherboard is mounted to internally. You also need the same size, a 1/4-inch socket to remove them. So we go ahead, we skip ahead. Everything's already taken apart, and now we're down to the bare bones of the console. Let's just go ahead and disconnect any excess wires here that we may have. So you guys, this is the PCB board. This is the board that basically gives the Odyssey 2 the capability of being able to output the composite video. This is the one I got again from retrofixes.com. And we got these wires spliced, so now what we need to do is we need to put the red wire like so in the 5-volt source that it needs. I'm gonna go ahead and show you all the schematic that's also available on their site, or not so much a schematic, basically just a picture on how to do it. So of course this is a little tricky, so again I stress to exercise a lot of patience. So There you go. So nothing too difficult. Of course, any excess wiring like that, go ahead and clip it off. Alright guys, so to do the outputs of what you want to get, or what you're going to need to basically solder to, that you're going to have the RCA jacks to, it's going to be this part here. I already went ahead, I spliced the wires. Again, this is my first time doing this. It's not super complicated, but also too, I'm kind of learning as I go. So now, as you can see here, this is pretty much what you're trying to go for to get them through. Again, try to make sure that none of these wires are kind of flaring out and bridging with another one, because that can cause problems. So clearly, again, this isn't the work of a pro, and yet this should be ample work to get it done. So if you have something comparable to this, don't worry. It doesn't have to look premium or super expert. As long as it's done and not overdone, then it'll be just as good. So but that's pretty much what it looks like soldered. Again, you have a lot of this excess here. What I'm going to do for this case, if you're in a situation like me where you don't have the tools that you need to cut them, including nail clippers, just go ahead and wiggle them back and forth, bend them back and forth, and they'll get brittle and break. Alright, you guys, so now that we got the PCB board all wired up, now we need to go ahead and attach it to the motherboard of the Odyssey 2. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. And we're going to start off with, of course, as you can see here, go ahead and separate the wires as best you can. Make sure they have a little bit of freedom, because they're going to go in many different spots here on the board. We're going to go ahead and start with the 5-volt wire here from the board. And this needs to go to this solder point right here. This is going to provide us our 5-volt source. So let's go ahead and do that. Just a little bit of solder. Alright, not the prettiest job, but that'll definitely work. Okay, our second wire here is going to be our video. Let's see. And that is going to go down here to this solder point right here. A little bit extra copper exposed. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to fold it in half. You're not going to be able to see it on camera, maybe, to get an idea. I've been kind of curling it back a little bit, so when it gets soldered up, that whole spot will fill. Okay, so this is now soldered in. The next one's going to be the ground, and that one's going to be easy. We're going to go ahead and solder it to this big guy up here. Realistically, we can solder it to anywhere on this board here, because this is pretty much all ground, from my understanding. But if I've learned anything when it comes to doing this kind of stuff, don't make assumptions and just do what the instructions say. So, because then you'll start asking questions, how come it's not working and this and that. You get so far into it, once you're done, you don't want to have to go back because it's extra work. It goes back to the school rule. If you don't do it right the first time, you're going to have to keep doing it. So, alright, ground it out. Now, the audio goes, there's 2 solder points right here. Let's see, you got this one and this one. Alright, so there you go. This one's also attached now too, looking pretty good. Just make sure that you don't leave any excess wires kind of flared out to touch out the ground. You don't want it to ground out. So now we need to go ahead and drill those holes to put in the RCA jacks. Alright, you guys, so now we need to go ahead and drill in the RCA jacks that come with the kit, which are right here. But first, to do that, we need to drill the holes. This is the bottom of the board, or the bottom of the case for the system, and we're gonna go ahead and drill them right here. Now, my understanding, they need to be 15 millimeters apart, preferably, and 15 millimeters from the top. I don't have any precision measurement tools, so I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of wing it. So okay, you guys, so what I did, I wouldn't personally recommend. However, I went ahead and I used my soldering iron to kind of mark spots in the material. It's very easy, very quick. Just hold it down for a second or two if you have no other alternative to do this. Again, the directions on RetroFix's site specify that they want it 15 millimeters from the top to here, and then preferably 15 millimeters apart. This is me kind of eyeballing it, so this is about where I'm going to drill my holes, and we're just going to hope for the best, you guys. Okay, so the one thing I could say about drilling plastic is to always, let me see if I can get this at a better angle, is to go slow. Okay, just make sure you go slow and don't use force. The torque as well as the bit will do most of the work. So as you can see, very, very, very light pressure. Bam. Also be very careful, you don't want to cut your hand. I've been cut with one of these before. It's not that great. Minimal pressure, minimal pressure. Try to get some of this excess off, you don't want it on. And drill another hole, like so. You're gonna have burrs left over from the plastic, like you can see here on both sides, regardless of how you cut this or what you use to cut, measurements or whatever. You're gonna have burrs. That's what this leftover cutaway is. These flakes that you can kind of, I don't know if you guys can hear that. You're gonna want to go ahead and deburr that using something sharp. We can go ahead and use this cutting tool. If you have like a Scotch-Brite or a sponge, and you can just kind of go like that over it real quick, that'll make this job much, much easier. So, alright, we're gonna go ahead and try a 1/4 inch. This is what the directions recommended. So, widening the hole again. Again, exercise caution. Alright. That should do it. Okay. Did it several times. What ended up working, and this is what RetroFix's recommends, again, the site that I got the kit from, a 1/4 inch size drill. It seems fairly big, but it's not. It's a perfect fit. Here's one of the RCA jacks, and goes right in. Now, it is a little loose. It's not supposed to be tight because the RCA jacks come with a washer, a lug nut, as well as a grounding tab. Just go ahead and tighten it first, I guess. Yeah, you can go ahead and hold everything in place and tighten it on the outside, just to where it's snug. And then go ahead and brilliant. Just like that, as you can see. Let's see if I can get it in focus a little bit better. Yeah, there you go. It is forward. It's not straight, but it's leaning forward, just as you see there. As you can see, this is what the RCA jacks look like up close. Again, you have the grounding tab. You have the grounding tab. You have the washer and the lug nut, just like that. So go ahead and put it on in this order. None of these, for whatever reason, none of these are supposed to go on the outside of the system. It's just going to have this part exposed. Go ahead and just put it in the same order that you see them here. So guys, this is pretty much what they look like installed, all of them. Now again, this isn't bad because, again, I just eyeballed it. If you just have a general idea of where they're supposed to go, and if you've seen an assortment of RCA jacks assorted enough times, you can get a fairly good idea. And as you can see, that's not half bad. It's not perfect, of course, but again, it's not bad at all, considering something that you eyeballed. So, again, the reason, what I'm trying to bring up though is that I had faith in myself. I had confidence that I'd do this right. If you have any doubts whatsoever and you're second guessing yourself, then don't do it. Make sure that you use something to measure them with, because again, I felt comfortable doing it based on just looking at it. If you don't have that same confidence, don't do it, because chances are when you install these, they'll touch and, well, that'll ruin them. So they'll be grounding out on each other. That'll cause you all sorts of issues. So okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start closing this up. We're going to go ahead and attach these wires like they're supposed to the RCA jacks. The top one is the video out, the center one is the ground, and the bottom one is the audio. We're going to go ahead and attach the video first. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright, so if you guys can see here on these tabs that are part of the RCA jacks, they have, I guess it looks like a little shovel deal or spade, and there's a hole in it. Go ahead and try to strum that hole with the wire, and that's how you want to get these things attached. Okay, you guys, so I went ahead, I took the liberty to go ahead and finish up all this wiring off camera for the RCA jack. So this is pretty much complete. Again, just follow the fundamentals that I laid out for you. Go ahead and just wire up the holes that are left in the flutes. Well, they look like flutes, like the spade shapes on the RCA jacks. Now again, they do provide all this extra wire to be able to do this, and it's the same wire that I used to finish up the wiring job for these composite RCA jacks. Now, you want to go ahead and, of course, with the tabs, wire one tab to the other for the grounding tabs. I use two separate wires, as you can kind of see here. And of course the ground wire goes to the first one, and then from there just daisy chain them. As far as the audio, the red and the white, put the audio to whichever one, it doesn't matter, and then you will daisy chain from one audio RCA jack to the next. This will give you your stereo sound, or well, rather dual mono sound, but this will give you for both speakers, which is what you want. So this is basically the finished product. Now what we need to go ahead and do is test it. So we're gonna go ahead and do that right now. Now I want to test this, and that's what we all want to do, is we want to test this before we close it back up and call it done. The reason being is because the picture has been said to vary, and on here, let me go ahead and zoom it back in. On the chip itself, on the kit chip, on this PCB board, we have a potentiometer that we can adjust. With any flat thing, a flat head screwdriver, we can adjust it accordingly to fine tune the picture that we want to get. That's what the purpose is for this. So if we close it up and we end up hooking everything up and it works, but we get a picture we don't want, it could be resolved just by this little guy right here. Not any discrepancy with your soldering work or anything like that, but just something that this can remedy. So that's why we're going to go ahead and test it with the Odyssey 2 still open. So let's go ahead and try that. Alright, you guys, now we're going to go ahead and plug in the RCA cables. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and connect our yellow to our yellow, white to our white, and our red to our red. TV's already on. We need to put power. Now be careful where your hands are. You don't want to make sure you're touching any exposed areas that can conduct electricity for your own safety, as well as making sure that the system doesn't get messed up. So. Alright, so we have power. Okay. We have power. We have the game, the packing game with crypto logic and whatnot. I'm going to go ahead and, let's see, now that they're all powered up, let me go ahead and adjust the camera so we can get a good look at the TV here. Alright, on screen power. There you go. There you go. And it seems like we might have a little bit of an issue, only because I know that these letters are supposed to be colored. Let's go ahead and hit a button here. Alright. Wow. You could barely make it out. on the camera, and in person works. We are getting a picture. Okay, so this is what the game is like. Let's see. Okay, well, now we got that kid in there. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this guy back on. Okay, and we have, I know that these letters are supposed to be multicolored, so what we're gonna go ahead and do is we're gonna adjust this potentiometer like the instructions told us in case the picture is not good. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna turn it counterclockwise. We're gonna go for that. Oh, for no other reason than just because. And it seems like we got our colored letters here. That looks like what it's supposed to look like. It's hard to tell on camera, but you guys should be able to see the hue. In person, it looks exactly what it's supposed to look like. There you go. Let's see. Yeah. There you go, you guys. That's exactly what it's supposed to look like, more or less. Of course, the scan lines are going to be a little bit, let's see here. Different, okay. And it works. And I died. Alright. Spin out. Now we have all of our colors. Very limited though they may be, at least for this game in particular, but we're right there where we want. Now let's check the last game. Well, there you go, you guys, and it looks like it was a success. Now let's go ahead and put it all back together. Just make sure you're very careful with how you tuck in the wires. Just make sure it's a very uniform fit, and again, patience is key. Exhibit patience to make sure you put this back together just fine. So yeah, you guys, that's pretty much it. The AV mod for your Magnavox Odyssey 2. If you guys are interested in me doing any other mod tutorials in the future, please leave it in the comments below. I just might go ahead and do that, especially since I've also modded an NES top loader. I haven't done one as far as a comprehensive tutorial on that, but I've done it before. I do have some hands-on experience. If you guys are interested in something like that, let me know and I'll see what I could do. Also, I've made mention before in my Nintendo 64 LED mod video that I don't usually do tutorials, but, well, this is something I've been meaning to do, and seeing as how my review, right here, sneak peek if you want, it's been taking a little bit of time to kind of get out. There tend to be few and far in between. I figured, well, let me take the opportunity to bring you something a little bit different and not an unboxing. So, if you guys enjoyed the video, please give it a like. I'd really appreciate it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Share it with your friends if you think this video would be useful to them. And any kind of constructive criticism, please let me know. I'm all ears. But, yeah, thanks for watching, you guys. Have a good day.